see if anybody joins us before we get going live on the other side. But if you're not new here, you know the deal. We're live on a couple of places. Welcome to ask questions, be part of the show. That's what it's all about. We're talking about satellite messaging mostly tonight. And 3, 2, 1, we're live over there. That's cool. Let's see, sometimes it lets me have the messaging and sometimes it does not. No, it does not let me have the messaging. So I'm not going to get any messaging on the other side. That means I'm relying on this side from the messaging. Welcome everybody. We're taking a look at some options for satellite messaging. That means being able to message when you're well beyond any kind of cellular distance or cellular reception with any kind of cell phone or anything, and beyond any kind of radio distance even. These go satellite up to, well, signals up to the satellites, and then the satellites go down to whoever it is you're trying to chat with. We'll talk about some options there. We also have some of these cellular hotspots, which give your phone Wi-Fi. Some of these work with your Wi-Fi on your phone, and then you can text and do your normal thing like with the internet. With these, it's the cellular plans, and with these, it's the satellite plans. All right, so we'll be talking about the new Garmin Mini 3 Plus. That's a really cool color version of the ever popular Mini 2, which has been out for a number of years now from Garmin. We'll also recommend getting screen protectors for these, just like your phone or your watches. You can get screen protectors for these. That's a good idea. Then we'll talk about this very economical model, less than half the cost of the Garmin. This one is the Spot. The Spot makes about 3 different models. I probably should have linked to them here, but this was their kind of middle of the line model. We also have a Motorola that I forgot to bring out here, which is an even more economical model. Then we got the Starlink back here, and that is definitely hands down the way to go. However, it's pretty big, you know, compared to my Garmin. A little bit different in size, right? So while one of them is definitely a powerhouse, the other one is definitely portable. To power up that Starlink, you're going to need, that is a router, so it's a satellite antenna and it's a router. So that means that it's going to pull the signal down and then distribute it with Wi-Fi to your phones and your other devices, right? Like this Samsung. So that needs some power. And one of the ways you can power it is with one of the devices that I have inside this cool case. And this uses the, in this case, a DeWalt 20-volt battery, but you can get these for, you know, for Milwaukee or other batteries that you might have preference. But then that way, that runs with the battery, and that you're off grid, right? You don't need anything else. I do have a silicone cover on it. I've got lots and lots of accessories, but if you're going to be taking it off grid with just the battery power, then you may want to put the cover on it just to protect the back of it from any damage. Now, if you're not going to be out where you need the satellite signal, you're going to have cell signal, then when you're traveling, you might want to bring your own hotspot with you, your own Wi-Fi with you. And that's where we're going to be talking about the SignalHive, which is you pay for this once, you buy this once, and you've got 1 gigabyte of internet for life. Every month you get 1 more gigabyte. So this is great for some projects I'm going to be working on. And since I'm working on multiple projects, I decided to go with 3 different types of these cellular hotspots. So the next one is the FIRSTNUM. And this is another device that's rechargeable. And it has a, I think does it say 750 hours or something of battery life, like a long time of battery life. And it's a Wi-Fi hotspot, and every month it gives you 1 gigabyte. The last one we'll take a look at is the TALKSIM. This one's a powerhouse. This one uses the 6G, or Wi-Fi 6, I should say. So fast connection. And look how small it is. And it comes with, in the box there's a bigger hockey puck thing that it plugs into for battery power. So it has some battery. No, actually, I don't think there's any battery power here. I think you just can plug it in, and that way it's nice and small, but then you can plug it into that hockey puck, and it has some battery power. So yeah, some different options with the cellular hotspots. Each of these, you buy them once, and you get 1 gigabyte of data every month, lifetime. That's why I bought them. Now, if you need more speed or more gigabytes of data each month, you can purchase more time with these. But the way I set them up is I opened the box. They all came with the battery like removed, so I plugged in the battery. Okay, so it's on, and then I connected to the Wi-Fi, and that's it. I didn't have to sign up to any account or anything. If you want to add more time or speed or something to them, then you can sign up to an account. But as is, you take it out of the box, turn it on, connect to the Wi-Fi, and you're online. Really cool. Each of the 3 of them was that easy. The big difference between them is the TALKSIM, I know, is on the Wi-Fi 6, and that's a big deal for me because I just got fiber here. So I'm going to make sure that this thing can, talk fast to make sure it has Wi-Fi 6 compatibility there. But it's also very small. So I think if you're going to plug this in for some of our projects, this is going to be nice and small. Plug it in, kind of leave it and forget it. This one's just nice and looking. So if you're going to carry it around, if you're going to have it set on a desk or something, certainly looks nice with the gold trim and the white, right? Kind of looks good. Probably matches the iPhones or something. And this one's neat because it has this built-in, like, what would you call that, like strap? And it actually comes with a strap, a piece of nylon to hold onto it. So that's kind of cool. I guess I should be clicking on these. I'm sorry if I'm not getting comments. The thing glitched on me and I'm not seeing any comments, so I apologize. I'm trying to anticipate any comments or just anticipate any questions that might be coming up. I mentioned the Starlink back there. It's about the size of a piece of paper. Maybe it's thick as a pad of paper, right? Kind of a thick magazine or a couple of magazines. It's kind of heavy. It's not that heavy, really. I mean, it's about as heavy as you'd think for a piece of plastic this big. There's no motors or anything in it, right? It's basically a honeycomb. That's really what it looks like, is a honeycomb kind of a thing with little pyramids. And the satellite signals come in and it hits those little pyramids and it does some kind of math and it can determine where the satellites are from that. So instead of having big, long metal antennas, it has little tiny plastic pyramids inside of there. Really neat. Anyway, because of that, it's pretty portable. It gives you super fast internet compared to any of these things. And it's full internet. Hook up a phone to that, hook up a tablet to that, hook up a laptop to that, and you're good to go. You pay a monthly fee with all of these, really. Well, I shouldn't say that. You don't have to pay a monthly fee with these. These are, you pay for them once and that's it. You can pay a monthly fee if you want more. With the Starlink, you buy it, and then there is a monthly fee, but it's as low as like $5 a month if you're not using it, and then it's $50 a month when you're using it. Actually, it's unlimited for $50, so there is no more than $50 you can pay, but you can turn it off essentially when you're not using it. Throttle it way down to $5 a month. If you're going to just be using it in your RV, or like what we do with camping. Thing is, we camp all the time, so we use it all the time. But you could turn that down. Now let's get back to the satellite options, because that's really what the new game in town is, the Garmin Mini 3. And this has the inReach technology. So here, I'll go ahead and pull that little thing off the front there. The power button's up top here. We'll turn that on. And as it comes to life here, you'll see the cool little display that we get. Nice little cool graphic. Mini 3 pops out of there. And then, of course, you go through the menus. I haven't done all that. I'll do that here in a bit. The big difference here is it's a touch screen, and like I say, it's an update to the couple of 3-year-old model here, the Mini 2. A little bit bigger screen. I'll pull that screen back out. It's just going to say not activated right now because I don't have it set up, but 2 color screen, and then bigger screen. I don't think this is a touch screen. I think this is mostly you use the buttons to navigate, and then this one's a touch screen. So kind of more modern. It is a little bit bigger, not a lot bigger, but a little. You can get this one with just a black without the red antenna. I decided to get the red antenna. I don't remember if there was something different about the red antenna or not. And then I think if the red antenna had messaging and the other one doesn't. Is that how it works? And then this one you can get in all black if you wanted, but why would you get all black when you can get an orange model, right? Looks like people are clicking on that Mini 3. I wish I could answer questions. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I should update the app or something, but the last couple of lives I've done, you have to do them through the phone, or at least I'm doing them through the phone. It hasn't let me read comments, so I apologize if there's any comments coming in or questions. This is brand new, so I have not taken it out, as you can see, but we can take a look at some of the things. It's real rugged. It's got your SOS button. Once it's set up, it knows who you are. The GPS knows where you are. So when you click that button, signal goes out, as I understand, to like the National Call Center, let's say. Then it tells by where it is, or it can tell where it is, and then people are sent to you. So it is a handy device if you're out in the middle of nowhere by yourself, or isolated as a group, and it gets people to you. So it's sort of that panic SOS call button. Super handy. The new one again has the touch screen, color screen, and the neat thing about these is they've had the call buttons for a while now. The Spot is essentially that. It's a call button. It's some prepaid, or not prepaid, but some predetermined messages you can send out to people on a periodic or necessary. You kind of predetermine when you're going to send them messages, and you push these buttons and the messages are sent, kind of like a pager. And then this is sort of like your smartphone. This is sort of like your flip phone. Maybe that's the way to think of it. Or maybe pager, cell phone, smartphone. So this one lets you let people know you're okay because you've predetermined a message. You send it out. You push these buttons and it kind of sends it out. This one can also help track you, or it can track you and help you, it relays your message or your location on a regular basis to a map that other people can have access to, so they can track your party or your person. This one lets you communicate with messaging. You're going to use your phone to use this to two-way message, so you can receive text using the satellite Iridium network. This one lets you do all that with the touch screen on the screen. Now you can connect to your phone to get pictures sent through here. You can send pictures with both, I think. So that's where the upgrade is. So this one lets you kind of send predetermined messages out, pre-formatted messages out. This one lets you text using your phone. This one lets you text right on the screen and send out on your phone. So these are using the Iridium network. I'm not really sure which network Spot's using. If someone knows, say in the comments. All of them are very lightweight. The Mini 2 is probably the lightest and smallest. Rechargeable batteries, long battery life. They've got these little knobby things. I don't know what to call them. I'm going to call them knobby things, which I kind of like. Instead of having a clip, which I don't always use. I don't know how many people don't use clips. I think a lot of people don't use clips. So these things let you put a carabiner in there. They let you do something else, like tie it to something. Pretty handy. This guy, just like this guy, has a built-in sort of place to put straps. So this is nice because you're not really using this as anything other than I'm okay, here's where I am, or I need help, right? So this one is more of something you might strap on your gear as opposed to carrying it around. Now, there are some ways to use these as navigation. I won't get into that because we're really just talking about the satellite messaging, but you can download some navigation stuff. This is Garmin after all, and get some GPS stuff on there. Just use it as navigation, but most people don't. Most people want this for its small form factor and its ability to send and receive texts out there. I see somebody already clicked on the screens protectors. You know, just like our watches, just like our phones, right? It's good to have, I need to put a new screen thing on this phone. It's good to have a screen protector on there. Basically, it goes on with almost like just a static cling, right? It just goes on there, no glue or anything. It's just on there, and then it lets you use the screen, see through and everything. But what happens is if something hits it, it takes all the abuse. It takes all the force. And since it's not really connected physically, it's just clinging to your other screen, your real screen, none of that force goes through. It all gets kind of dissipated into that cover. You just peel it off if you need to. Some of these phones have a bunch of cracks on them on the outside. Once I peel that off, everything will be fine. I'll put a new cover on. And most of the time when you buy these covers, they come with a couple right away, which is handy. First time you're putting them on, you might break one, so having two is handy. But once you get the hang of it, putting your first one on, knowing that you have another one is just nice. So thanks to the people that are clicking on that stuff. I can see when people are clicking, so that's kind of cool. Let's see, going back though to the two Garmins, I think they lend themselves to, putting in a pocket, putting in a pouch, maybe carabiner to your strap or something. I don't think I'd be doing that. They're too expensive for that. But definitely rugged, definitely lend themselves to taking with you on the trip. But not everybody's into, you don't need to message people. You don't really need to put down $5 on something like this. So for one, for 1/5 of the cost of this one, the Spot is going to give you a lot of features. So if you just want to let people know I made it to the top, I'm at the camp, or maybe I'm heading back, or I'm at the trailhead, some kind of message, you predetermine that message, and when you push this button, that message gets sent out. Well, I guess I should click on it over here, sorry. So when that message will get sent out when you determine, and then who you determine. So you could send that to like 10 people or something. So this could be pretty handy. Let's say like a scout troop or something is out there. You push that button, all the necessary people get told everybody's doing fine, right? You can send out waypoints, kind of set up in the software. I think I'm down to every 2.5 minutes or 2.5 miles or something like that. It'll lay down a waypoint on a map that people can have access to, that you can give people access to. So now it's tracking this as you go out, again, way beyond cell service. Now, what the real point of this, the original point of this, and they've enhanced it, but the real point of this is underneath of this cover, and that's the SOS, the send help button. And when you push that, once you've got it all set up with your account and everything, and they know who you are, you push that, the unit knows where it is. You push this, it sends a call out to like a national operator or service or whatever it is, and then they see that you push the button, they see where it is, and then they use a switchboard or whatever and get out to the local, whoever needs to be told, and emergency services are sent to you. So that's what this is all about. It's a help, I need help. Now sometimes you don't need all that much help, but you do need, I have a flat tire, I'm running out of water, like that thing we talked about, I need help for that. There's another button here that's on this side, and this is more like the I need help from friends button. And this is going to send the I need help, but to your friends who you've already predetermined down here. So this is really handy, and it's, again, a fraction of the cost, but it's still going to have signal or service pretty much anywhere, because instead of relying on the cell signal or anything else, it goes up to the satellites, and then the satellites distribute it to wherever it needs to go. So this is pretty cool. Again, but this isn't two-way. This is, you predetermine some messages, and every time you push this button, those messages are sent out, kind of like on a relay. And then the waypoints are sent out. The next level up, again, is that Garmin Mini 2. Been around for a little while now. And kind of a radio form factor, but really what's going on here is this is almost like a Wi-Fi router that uses the Iridium satellite network. So this little hardwired antenna here is going up to the satellites. It is given your waypoint. It is there's a panic button on the side here, but it's not really a radio as much as it's that Wi-Fi network. And now your phone, you can take pictures, right? You can text, goes through here out to the system. So that's pretty handy. The big difference with the new one here, the Mini 3 Plus, the reason we're doing this because we just got one of these. These just came out. These are like, what, weeks old. Bigger screen. Let's see, I'm not supposed to probably show that. Let's just see if I can't turn it off again. Hold down the button. There we go. And then the thing will turn off. Bigger screen, touch screen, color screen. That's some of the biggest differences here. It's still a Wi-Fi hotspot. Different. They don't make it in orange. That's annoying. I like the orange better, but they did get the red antenna at least. But yeah, that's the kind of the deluxe. Oh, I should say again, SOS button, of course. But this is sort of the deluxe, top of the line satellite messenger communicator that you can get. You can still get cell phone or satellite phones, right? But a satellite phone is going to be bigger, cost more, larger service plan. So talking about service plans, you will need a service plan with any of these. I think you have to turn them on and get them started, and then there's a service plan. And depending on which one you go with and, you know, that kind of thing, there's pay as you go, start with this, and per message or per minute, you know, there's that kind of thing. And well, you know, it's satellite systems. I got to worry about keeping satellites up in the air. So compared to the satellite phones, these are fraction. And even on the table here, you know, this one, if this one is 500, you're looking at like 200 something and then 100 something. So much different scale here, but all of these are much less than the actual expensive satellite phones that are out there. Still give you that satellite communication though. And like I say, if you need cellular communication, these are completely different because you buy it once, and unless you upgrade, if you need to, once you buy it, you'll get that 1 gigabyte of service. You can get different options, I guess I should say. I bought the 1 gigabyte service per month options here, but if you needed to, you could buy different options on these. Let's see, I'm trying to find these so I had to click on them. Sorry for the shaking the screen around here. There we go. So this one is the SignalHive, they call it, and it uses the 4G satellite system, or 4G cellular signal. This becomes a Wi-Fi hotspot. I think that can all handle 10 devices. So now if you're traveling and you want to make sure you bring your own hotspot along, you're traveling, you don't want to pay for a hotel hotspot, all the reasons you might want to bring your own. Now you've got your own. Now, if you want to make it faster, if you want to have more gigabytes or something, you can log into this, and there's plans for that. Each of these are like that. But as is, you pay for it, and I think these are like $80 a piece, somewhere around 80. You pay for them once, and then you have internet, 1 gigabyte every month. Again, this one is nice because it looks cool, has the nice gold trim. And then we've got the little guy, little hockey puck. By itself, you just plug it in and it's good to go. I don't think there's any battery. Yeah, see, it won't turn on by itself. But then there's a bigger hockey puck that you set this on, not much bigger, about twice as big. But this one, it sets on that bigger hockey puck. That's the battery. They connect with these 3 little magnetic pluggy things here. Once that's setting on it, then it has battery and this thing can turn on. It's kind of, I'm not sure the form factor. I'm not sure why they did it that way. This is certainly small, and for actually some of the projects I'm thinking, this would be handy to be so small and be able to run off a USB and not have to have a whole nother battery. But it is what it is. Again, I wish I could see some of the comments that might be coming in, if there are any comments coming in, but I don't, so I can't. I'm using the S24 Ultras. Reason I bought the S24 is when I bought these earlier this year, 2025, these had 6 or 7 years of service life ahead of them. So going into 26, we can say they've got like 5 or 6 years of service life. And what that means is when you buy an Android phone, at least, and I'm assuming it's similar with other phones, when you buy one of these, one of the determining factors for me at least, is the Android operating system that's on it, or the Android system. The older the Android system, the less future updates it has. So every time you buy a new one, it has the most potential future updates. This one, at the time I bought it earlier this year, was 2 years into its lifetime. Like, it was a couple of years old already, or at least the models. I don't know. I'm assuming all the phones were built back then. I don't really know when they're built, but the model is a couple of years old, and that means that the Android system had like 7 years on it or something. So these have a number of years that they'll still be of use before they're an obsolete operating system. So that's the issue. I used to have phones that were in about the $100 range, and they were adequate. They worked as good phones. Problem is, they ran to their end of life pretty quick, relatively, compared to some of these newer phones, which are going to have a 6-year end of life, 6 year before they hit their end of life. Anyway, that's why I went with the 24, and then the Ultra has extra cameras, and I always do videos and stuff, so I wanted to have the Ultra. Now, I don't know if the Ultra has a bigger screen also. It may. And then I should mention the S24s have this stylus. I actually forget it's on here half the time, but it comes out the bottom, and it has a button on it that like lets you do the pick camera or something. So it's actually a pretty interesting kind of built-in accessory. I always forget that it's even there. They come in a couple of colors. I've got an orange and a purple, so I can keep track of them. And again, they have an Ultra. Honestly, I don't know what the other ones are called, but there's like 3 versions of all the Samsungs, and the Ultras models or Ultra versions are the ones with the best cameras, I'm told. All right, so I guess we'll just kind of go backwards through the list here. Again, I apologize because of the glitch. I'm not seeing any comments that might be coming in. We do have something like 250 people watching, if I'm reading this right. So I'm assuming there probably are some questions. But first thing we took a look at was the phone. We just talked about that, the S24 Ultra. Then we've got the FIRSTNUM mobile spot, and this one again, each of these mobile hotspots is 1 gigabyte per month for life. Once you buy it, you're good to go. Well under $100 once you buy it. Now, if you need faster, if you need more, you can log in. But all I did is took them out of the box, put the batteries in. Most of them have the information just stuck inside the battery compartment. So you take a picture of that with your phone or something, put the battery in, it turns on. All of them were charged, but I went ahead and charged them anyway. What they give you inside of there with the info is the whatever it's called, like the Wi-Fi identity, and then the password, and you just use that and you're on. It's that fast. So now you're on the internet at moderate speeds. It's one time you're paying for it and you have it for a lifetime, so it's not amazing speeds or anything, but for certain projects and for texting and for that kind of stuff, this stuff is going to be cool. Anyway, so that was the white one, and this one has the gold trim. I think this looks cool for, if you're traveling or something, if you have to set this on a desk. Each of these will let 10 people log in. So, you set it on a desk and you say, hey, use my Wi-Fi. Again, it's not fast, but if everybody's just texting, it's not like for watching videos, but it's for like texting and emails and that kind of thing. And these work all over the world. I should mention these all work all over the world. These require a cell signal. These don't require anything. You can use these on top of mountains, in the middle of the ocean. Well, can you use these in the ocean? Somebody'd have to tell me. I'm not actually sure. I know you can use them on land anywhere, but they may not have satellites over the ocean. That's a lot. That's asking a lot. Anyway, getting back to this little guy. it's a different form factor. I bought it because it's actually quite a bit cheaper than the other two. It's actually the cheapest thing on the table, half the price of these. And maybe it's because of the form factor, I don't know. But again, it just turned it on, connected to it, and I have internet. It's kind of a two-piece thing though. It needs the base unit to be plugged in. But again, you can also just plug this thing in and maybe stick it somewhere. So maybe if you had like a television somewhere and you wanted that television, like it's a smart television, it needs some internet, but you don't have internet in the house or something, maybe you just plug this in and it trickles internet into whatever device. You know, I'm just saying television, but maybe it's anything, you know, any kind of smart device. That might be a good use for this. That's probably how I'm going to use it. And then that's SignalHive. And I think this is probably handy if you're going to be carrying it like on a backpack or something, just because of the, I don't know if it's more rugged or not. It just seems like it probably is because it has this slot built into it. And I just think that's handy. I think it's clever. And it covers the back and the front. So with that on, like there's no way the back can come off. Not that the back would come off of any of these. I just think this is a clever kind of option. I should mention too, probably, since we're talking about it, I'll turn this guy back on. When you turn this one on, you get a lot more information on the screen. So it's going to say welcome. And then, and they have like a power button and another button. So there's not like a lot going on here. Same with this power button, some other button. And then there's like a reset hole that you jam something into. But there you go. It'll tell you, it'll tell you your, how much you've used today. It'll tell you your signal strength. It'll tell you your battery. And then the name of the networks. I don't know if I'm supposed to show that or not. This one is more like, let me turn this one on. This one is just some green or red indicator lights. So it kind of depends on if you care about seeing something. Honestly, this thing is pretty cool because it'll turn on. That's the green light on the right. It's finding its carrier signal on the left here. And then I'd have to turn on, I can't turn on, one of my cameras is recording here, but this green light will come on here when you actually have a device connected. So I can tell that it's on, that it's connected to its carrier, but it just doesn't have any devices connected, which is cool because I don't want anybody dragging my internet down. Now, no one would be able to connect to this because the password's goofy, right? You could probably go in and change the passwords and the network names also. I just haven't looked into that right yet. Anyway, so that's kind of the difference between this one is just Christmas tree lights, that's it. This guy is, you know, let's give you a whole like screen of information. So kind of depends on if you're nerdy or not. This, nothing. This, you get the little, that little pie looking piece at the top there is if it's on and connecting to service, like it's either red or green. And then that little circle is if it's charged or not, red or green. So those are your in-cell signal. Get yourself a gigabyte every month. You pay once and you have internet forever. I bought these and I had them the next day. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that. So these were pretty cool. Like you get them and you have them. It's pretty neat. Then let's talk Starlink. I've got my Starlink silicone case on here. It just fits on the outside, you know, and mainly because I'm always knocking it around. If you've already seen, I've got a couple of nicks on the front here. I do have one that covers the front, but not when I have the one covering the back. And for whatever reason, I tend to have it on the back more often. But there are ones for the front if you want them. I'm powering it with this little guy. So you use a DeWalt 20-volt battery, which are $50, something like that. And rechargeable, obviously, long power. They just plug into the DC in the back of the Starlink. A million different ways to power your Starlink, though. It just needs DC, like 5 volts of power or something. So you can plug it, you can power it off of lots of stuff. The Starlink itself, though, if I stop on the side of the road, I don't have this like connected to the vehicle really. I just stop on the side of the road. I set it up on top of the vehicle. It's got this little kickstand. So that folds down when it's in the box or when it's in its case there. Put the kickstand up and it basically gives it the right angle that it's going to need. The thing I found the most handy is either putting it on a tripod so that you can literally adjust it, or I put it in a camp chair, because a camp chair is kind of just a sloppy chair, and this thing just sits in there and kind of scoot it around. But on your app, right, you get your phone out, and on the Starlink app, you'll have like a little 3D picture of your link of your antenna, and you just kind of wiggle it and monitor it on the app, and it'll kind of go ding ding ding, you're sighted in. And once you sight it in, that probably takes more time than anything else, because all you got to do is plug it in, aim it at the satellites, give it a minute, it'll like let you fine tune it, and then you're done. So maybe 3 to 5 minutes, I guess, once you know what you're doing. If it's already out of the box and everything, it takes 2 minutes. It takes a moment, but it takes like 3 minutes if you have to pull it out of the box and set everything up, because all you have to do to set it up is plug in a battery, plug that into the unit, and then aim it. You'll use your cell phone to determine that it's connected, and then boom, you've got super fast internet to every device, right? Like to all your phones, all your cell phones. I don't know if there's a limit of how many things you can connect to a Starlink. I don't think there is. Like these all connect like 10 items or something. Like I don't know if there's a limit over there. The big disadvantage is, compared to this, which is also a satellite messenger, that is big, even though it's tiny compared to what we used to use for satellite communications. All right, so the Motorola one I didn't, I guess I didn't bring out here, but it's more like a key fob, and it is a satellite uplink, so we'll put that out and we'll bring that out for the next one. Then the Spot, like I say, the most economical, the most basic. You just push these buttons when you want to. They relay information out to people who are predetermined. You've got your, I really need help, like come get me, I need help. I'm not kidding. And then you've got your, remember what I said if I ran out of gas? Yeah, I ran out of gas. Or like, I think we decided we aren't going to be able to make it back before the snow or something, right? So you got that button. And then your waypoints and that kind of thing, so that you can share a map with people. Like I say, this one's probably real handy for a group that goes out and you want to alert all the parents. You want to alert like all the spouses or whatever, maybe all the children if you're old people. But you want to alert 10 people, I think up to 10 people with one button push. This one's handy. Again, anywhere in the world. I don't know about the oceans, but anywhere on land. No matter if it's the top of a mountain or bottom of a valley. And that's the other part. A lot of cell phone stuff, I'm going to be in cell service. Are you in cell service at the bottom of that valley? Are you in cell service like, some weird thing where there's magnets and stuff? Well, you're probably always going to be able to look up at the satellites. So another level up, a couple of 3 years old at this point, is the, and then I guess I have those screen protectors on here too. People have been clicking on that. But a couple of years old now is the Mini 2. So inReach is what they call the ability to use your cell phone to use two-way texting with this essentially Wi-Fi hotspot that's using the Iridium satellite network. But then it also has some other features. You can download some GPS stuff into here, use it as a navigator a little bit. Of course, you can, same as these other navigation type of GPS satellite messengers, is this one can send out updates to a map that can be shared so people can follow your progress or follow where you are. You've got the SOS button, of course, and again, this is going to be registered to you. They're going to, the switchboard is going to know that you are the one pushing the button. The GPS is going to tell them where you are, and they're going to be sending people out to you. So you don't want to just push that button, right, unless you really need it. But it's legit. It's a real help, come get me type of button. And, what's that worth at the times when you really need to push that button? And that's why these, are what they are. So they decided, hey, what can we do to improve this? Without making it much bigger, really. It's not too much bigger. It's just a little bigger. What they did is they made the screen a lot bigger. They made the screen color, and they made the screen a touch screen. And in addition, where this one kind of needs a telephone to send texts and pictures through that Wi-Fi network, through the Iridium network. This one can also do that. So if you want to send pictures, you take them on your cell phone, you push them through your, this is the inReach Mini 3 Plus. You take your pictures, you send them through your inReach Mini 3, through that Iridium satellite network, back down to other people, whoever you send them to. It's not like this system where you're only sending it to the predetermined messages to the predetermined people. This is true two-way texting. So these are pretty cool. And, you know, you might not be interested in all that tech up on the top of the mountain in the middle of nowhere. And that's why, you know, for 1/5 the price, you might be looking at that Spot as a better option. On the other hand, if you're thinking to yourself, this is 2025 going on 2026, and for, you know, a chunk of change, I can have a touchscreen color satellite messenger. I mean, basically a satellite smartphone that, you know, fits in the palm of your hand. Think of how big satellite phones were not too long ago. I mean, watch an old movie. It's really magic. It's really neat what they've got today. So anyway, these just came out. They're like a month old or something. That's why I grabbed one. But this one is a gift since we're going to be out doing stuff. I don't want to be the only one with a radio or a GPS messenger, satellite messenger. So this one's going to one of the other crew who goes out with us. And then these are for some projects where we're going to need internet, but not necessarily fast, you know, expensive internet. But these give us internet all over the place. All right, so that was kind of a run through again. We want to thank everybody for joining us. I wish I had some questions. Let me go see if there's any questions, if I can find them. I don't see any, so I apologize if something glitched as we started the live over here. And what I see is Mila, a little pup that looks maybe like a little bit of shepherd, a little bit of collie, but probably a mutt, but one of the dogs of Amazon, as they say, which is like the error messages that you get on Amazon. Unfortunately, we didn't get the texts or the comments here, but I can see that there's plenty of people watching. We're up to 300 something people watching, with lots and lots of people clicking on stuff. So hopefully we gave you some good ideas, some peace of mind, some contact with those folks who are out in the middle of no place, and a way to kind of do two-way texting, seeing pictures and that kind of thing. You know, now instead of waiting to get home to see the sunsets or the sunrises, you can message that stuff immediately. All right, well, I guess I can say thanks again. Have a great Christmas, everybody. Have a great holiday, great new year that's coming up, and stay tuned for our next ones. We've got a couple in the works, like already in the, what do they call that, in the schedule or in the calendar there. And I wish there was a way to, I wonder if once this is over, if I'll be able to see the comments and be able to address them, but we'll see you next time. All right, that's the Amazon side. Nobody was over here though, so I guess we'll just wrap this up on this side too. This is how you wrap it up on the YouTube side, by doing this.